direct you straight to your seat.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. You know, it's kind of
Welcome, Grandma.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Have a good one, sir.
Good evening, everyone. We will commence our meeting for this regular City Council meeting for April 7, 2026. Let's all stand and proudly recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, can you kindly do roll call, please?
Yes. Councilmember Brando Cruz.
Here.
Councilmember Melissa Lamatina.
Here.
Councilmember David Oro.
Here.
Vice Mayor Mark Joseph.
Here.
Mayor Pierre Washington.
Here, and thank you, Teresa. Report on closed session, confirmation of reportable actions. Ms. Highsmith?
Thank you, Mayor. The City Council met in closed session this afternoon with legal counsel to receive a status report on 5 matters of existing litigation. The first case, City of American Canyon versus City of Vallejo, and the following cases are City of Vallejo versus American Canyon et al., 3 other different cases. And then finally, American Canyon 1 LLC versus City of American Canyon. So those are the 5 existing litigation matters. Direction was provided to legal counsel. No action was taken. Additionally, the council received a briefing on a single matter of anticipated litigation, and again, direction was provided to legal counsel and staff, and no reportable action was taken. And that is the end of my report, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Moving on to our proclamations and presentations. Tonight we have 2 proclamations and 1 presentation. The first proclamation will be item number 3, proclamation for April 2026 as Art Month. If there are recipients for the Arts Foundation for Arts Month, I'll read the proclamation, and then I'll provide you an opportunity to kind of give us some feedback on your thoughts. But reading? Oh, that's right. April 2026 as Arts Month. Whereas the arts, including visual and performing arts, literature, music, and craft, are essential facets of a vibrant, dynamic community, enriching the lives of all who create and experience them. And whereas the celebration of arts during the month of April recognizes the contributions of artists and art organizations while encouraging public participation in the arts. And whereas the art plays a critical role in the cultural, educational, and economic vitality of our community, fostering creativity, innovation, and unity across diverse population. And whereas through workshops, exhibitions, performances, and readings, Art Month will showcase the rich tapestry of artistic talent within our community, providing a platform for artists to inspire and to be inspired. And whereas engaging with the arts during April enhances our appreciation for the many ways art enriches our lives and underscores the importance of supporting the arts year-round. And whereas the American Canyon Arts Foundation, one of the oldest community organizations in American Canyon, continues to maintain, enhance, and support the role of arts by bringing artists and community members together through recreational, cultural, and economic programs, events, and exhibitions. Now, therefore, I, Pierre Washington, Mayor of American Canyon, on behalf of the City Council, do hereby proclaim April as Art Month in American Canyon and call upon our community to celebrate and participate in the arts. Let us recognize the support of the artists and the art organizations that contribute to the cultural wealth of our community and encourages one another to explore, experience, and express creativity through arts. So thank you.
Thank you so much to everyone on the council and the mayor as well. I am coming from the Arts Council Napa Valley, and I'm their program and admin manager, Krista. And I just wanted to highlight some programming that we've had the pleasure of being able to support in the past, all through the American Canyon Arts Foundation. So in the past, we've been able to support several of the festivals and cultural celebrations that you've had, such as the Hispanic Heritage Celebration, the Student Art and Music Festival, and Art Extravaganza. And we are looking forward to supporting future events. Arts of different cultures has been so prevalent here, especially the Filipino culture. I've really enjoyed what I've been able to attend personally, as well as what we've been able to help share information about in the past. And then I also wanted to highlight some things going on this month here in American Canyon. There are continual library programmings, including craft kits, workshops, story times, and then one of my personal favorites is music time in the library, where they come and bring instruments for kids to see and touch and interact with. So, and those are programs that are happening all the time. It's not just in April, so go enjoy your local library, and also what is going on this month at the
American Arts Foundation.
Yes, thank you.
All right. Hello,
Hi.
everybody. It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Karen Borby, and I'm the newly elected president of the American Canyon Arts Foundation. We have so many dreams and plans that I'd love to share with you, but it might take too much time. I will let you know what's happening in April, and if I have a little extra time, I'll give you a little insight into what we're looking at having happen here in American Canyon. In April, this coming Saturday, we have a fundraiser for the high school art students who want to go to Italy and have an art experience. It's a sip and paint from 5 to 7. 24 a person or $40 for a couple. So there'll be wine and food and painting and a little bit of entrepreneurialism. I think they're selling buttons and some auction items just to get some tickets to go to Italy this summer. So that's, if you can make it, please join us. Number 2 is we have something that's new, and it's called Third Thursdays. And it happens every month. This month is an open mic. And it's whoever shows with whatever they want to share is what goes. So, maybe not for the faint of heart, because you just really do never know. It's usually very entertaining. And then finally, if April had 31 days, we would be able to put the ukulele event on the calendar. It happens to be May 1st. And with us in the room today are who's hosting it, Rowena and Willie. They have started a ukulele jam here at our classrooms, where everybody gets together. The room's bursting with song, with bodies, and that leads me to how we'd like to spill out into what I'm going to call our courtyard, because we're getting too big, our following, which is great. So it's going to be in the Micologic multi-purpose room, so everybody can come. And that's May 1st from 6 to 8, and it's free. Okay, so that's what's happening in April. I mentioned the courtyard. We have prettied up our classrooms. We now look much more sophisticated, and we're going to be, we have plans. We don't have permission quite yet, but we have plans for a mosaic that will be community. There will be the community participating, and many of you probably will be among those who will be invited to participate, and you certainly can request. You don't have to wait for an invitation. There's a lot of wall. So there's that project, and just getting the courtyard to a place where it's inviting and safe. Well, it's already somewhat that way, but it's not inviting, okay? Needs a little work. So that's what's up. Come visit us. Come on a third Thursday. Come any old time. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen.
so
And
much.
the American Arts Foundation represents the very best of what makes American Canyon and our community united. And I would be remiss if I didn't ask the face of the Arts Foundation, in my opinion, at least, for Mark, if you have a couple of words you want to kind of mention.
You can always join the foundation, and you can always give us money. How's that?
I knew it had to do something with
But,
money.
and I'd be remiss if I didn't mention our latest board member on your other side.
Oh. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Good enough. So thank you for those comments, and then we'll come up front and take a picture with you.
Oh.
Our next proclamation will be Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and I know we have some people from the news here to be recipients. So if you want to go up, I'll read the proclamation, give you an opportunity to kind of give us some feedback and tell us all about all the great things you're doing. Reading the proclamation, Sexual Assault Awareness Month, April 2026. Whereas news, domestic violence and sexual abuse services provide safety, support, and advocacy for those experiencing sexual abuse. Whereas this year, we honor 25 years of Sexual Assault Awareness Month and the shared commitment to end sexual assault, abuse, and harassment. Whereas rape, sexual assault, and sexual harassment harm our community, and that statistics show that over half of the women and almost 1 in 3 men have experienced sexual violence. And that sexual violence affects women, minors, and racial and ethnic minority groups. Whereas this Sexual Harassment Awareness Month, we underscore that we believe survivors, that we believe violence has no place in our homes, our schools, our community, and that we believe safety, dignity, and respect are privileges, but respect are not privileges, but are the rights of every individual. Whereas by observing April as Sexual Assault Awareness Month, we show that our city can lead with courage and in commitment to supporting survivors and to preventing sexual violence across generations. Now therefore, I, Pierre Washington, Mayor of American Canyon, on behalf of the American Canyon City Council, do hereby proclaim April 2026 as Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and I call upon the entire community, not only in April, but all year long, to take action to end sexual violence. Dated April 7, 2026.
Thank you so much, Mayor Washington, and to the members of the council. My name is Tracy Lamb, and I'm the Executive Director at News, Domestic Violence and Sexual Abuse Services. And what I'm about to say is difficult and maybe triggering, so I just want to kind of give a warning about that. I know it's not as joyful as art. Art is such a beautiful expression and a healing thing for a lot of people, so I appreciate what you're doing. When I was a child, we were taught about stranger danger, but no one told me that harm could come from someone I trusted, a coach, a teacher, a stepbrother, a neighbor. No one explained how confusing it would be to find the words to describe what happened or how terrifying it would be to speak them out loud. Children and adults alike wonder, how do I tell someone? What will happen to my family? Will I have to talk to the police? Will I have to go to court? What if they don't believe me? We don't want to imagine that sexual abuse happens as often as it does, but awareness requires honesty, and honesty requires courage. This year's Sexual Assault Awareness Month theme is We Believe. Those two words matter deeply because for every survivor who comes forward, there are so many more who remain silent, carrying a burden that can last a lifetime. That is why having a confidential, safe place to speak with a trained sexual assault counselor is essential. At News, our providers provide that place, that safe space where survivors are heard, believed, and supported. Bringing attention to this issue and ensuring that the County of American Canyon and our whole community helps that exist. And that's why we ask for these proclamations to be read each year. They're not just symbolic gestures, but they are public commitments to say to survivors, you're not alone, we believe you, and healing is possible. We are culminating the month of April with an event that's happening on May 3rd at 2 o'clock in Napa. It's called Walk a Mile Napa Valley, and it will start at the Napa Yard Oxbow Gardens across from Oxbow Market, and it's just a 1 mile walk, and it's a way to stay in a visible way. We're together, we believe, and we support, and we demand an end to sexual violence. So if you'd like to register, if anybody would like to participate, we invite everyone to come and join us. And we want to thank the City of American Canyon for all the ways that they support us and the work that we do. And we also accept money. No, I'm just kidding. But I do have the information in English and Spanish to share with you, and I'll just leave that here. Thank you very much for the time. I appreciate it.
And Tracy, I told the mayor of Napa, Scott Sedgley, that you were coming tonight, and he wanted me to ask you, why aren't we able to wear the red shoes this year?
Well, we really wanted to make a statement that it wasn't just about walking in women's shoes. It was about walking in anyone's shoes that maybe you're not comfortable with. Mm-hmm. And we really thought that it was a more inclusive way to bring that to everyone in the community. Although Scott Sedgley did walk in high heel red shoes
together.
for a couple years. Yes, thank you. I bet that wasn't comfortable.
He walked a lot more better than I did in those shoes. So, but
I can't walk in those shoes, so I commend you for doing it, but it does send a powerful message about the discomfort that people go through when they're dealing with these kinds of issues. So please come out and walk with us again. Wear some shoes. You don't have to wear red heels, but you could wear some shoes that maybe you're not usually comfortable walking in, and bring a team and send a message, and we'd love to see you all come out.
I'll definitely be there, and I wanted to make sure that you know that I appreciate what you do, because what feedback I've been getting back from a lot of people, both men and women who have used your services, have said you provided them a place where they didn't become a victim twice. So thank you.
Thank
And
you.
we're going to take this picture with you.
Thank you.
Everybody shift over to my right. Good. Good. 1, 2. Thank you.
Now we have a presentation on mosquito abatement. And if you could introduce who you are when you come up.
Good evening. My name is Wesley Maffei. I am the general manager of the Napa County Mosquito Abatement District and have been for more than 28 years. I have 38 years in mosquito control. And I'm here to talk a little bit about the district. Some of y'all have heard this before, some haven't, and also to sort of remind folks, because this is that time of year where managing the water in and around the home is everything. No water, no mosquitoes. It's a very simple formula. It's real easy to overlook breeding sites. It's real easy to sort of forget or become complacent, and that's one of the biggest challenges that we have as a district, because we cannot get into people's backyards. When I started, back when the dinosaurs roamed the earth, it was much easier. People didn't care. You just did your job. Everybody was happy, and on you went. So let's just get the ball rolling here a bit, see if I can do this. Okay, what happened to the, okay, let's try this then. Oh, okay, well, she said use the mouse, so this, all right. So a little brief overview about the district. We were formed in 1925, August 17th, in fact, and we have been managing mosquito population in this county ever since. We have 9 full-time staff, including myself. We cover the entire county, all 789 square miles. Knoxville calls, we are there. That's how it works. We not only perform mosquito control, but we also manage ground nesting yellow jackets. You find a yellow jacket nest in the ground, we will show up, we will take care of it. The district utilizes about $3.4 million in funds every year to do this work. And most of that is work in wetlands. The majority of our work is mosquito control. We also provide information and advice to the citizens concerning rodents, cockroaches, if there's an insect they want identified or some other information that they're interested in. If we can help them, we will, or we direct them to the right resource. In terms of general mosquito biology, so I'm sort of moving through fairly quickly here, keep in mind that there is the egg, the immature, the pupa, and the adult mosquito. The immature stages require water. The key is to eliminate the water where you can, or to tightly screen it or cover it or control access. If mosquitoes cannot get to the water, they cannot breed. If there's no water, no bugs. Same story, same message. Ways that you can manage mosquitoes, the ways that we do it and the ways that citizens can do it. Primarily, it's physical control. Physical control means dumping the containers, sealing or eliminating access to water. In some instances, we will be involved with wetlands restoration projects because there's information that we can provide. Wetlands are a good thing when designed and managed properly. When that doesn't happen, you will have lots of mosquitoes, as is exemplified by the trap that I set yesterday and went and picked up this morning, and there were over 2,000 of these things inside this trap. And it was at a small wetland near South Napa. So it is a very, very big deal when you're talking about managing the water. So physical control, that is the best. It is the least toxic, and done wisely and carefully can also be the least disruptive. You have biological control. That's using mosquito fish. That's using bacteria that specifically will affect the immature stages of mosquitoes. You can also use irradiated mosquitoes. We don't do that. And you can use sterile male techniques. So there are a number of different ways that you can biologically manage these insects. You can also use predators, although there's limited effectiveness depending on when, the time of year, the species, etc. Third method is chemical control. This is the least preferred and has the potential to have unwanted impacts, so we try not to do that. That's our last resort. The best method is public education. You get the word out, you help folks, you educate, you remind them, and you have to keep reminding folks, listen, I forget. I had a bucket in the backyard where I live and I forgot about it, and yeah, we got eaten alive. So you gotta remember, manage that water. Now, in terms of American Canyon, we have an intensive surveillance program here. So we do set out traps, we collect mosquitoes. Not all species carry disease. Napa County has 20 different species, but only about 8 of them are a real problem. And only about 3 or 4 of them actually carry diseases. Those particular mosquitoes that carry diseases, we will gather them, we send them to UC Davis, we test them for virus. Here in American Canyon, in the last 10 years, only 3 times have we had or detected positive mosquitoes for West Nile virus. And when that happens, we are on it like ticks on a hound dog. We get this sucker done because we don't want these things out and about. Where we have found it has primarily been in and around the sewage treatment plant. In terms of service calls, about 32% of our calls are yellow jacket, 40% are mosquito, and the remainder are more informational, or folks are interested in mosquito fish, and so we call that sort of other. Let's see. So again, you'll see the message at the bottom. The key to minimizing human mosquito interactions is to effectively manage the water in and around your home. And sort of this diagram is just a reminder. There are so many places that mosquitoes can breed, and it takes very little water. In fact, I think I brought a, well, yeah, here it is. So depending on the species, they can breed in something as small as a bottle cap. Takes almost nothing for these guys to be off and running. Clogged gutters, the little drains in the lawn, the sumps, the storm drains along the streets that don't drain properly. These guys, if they can find the water, they will, and they will breed in it. So this just sort of reminds folks that there are so many different things where water can collect and mosquitoes can take advantage. But let's talk about what I'm really here about, which is that there is a new player. And it is called the yellow fever mosquito, Aedes aegypti. Now, it was introduced to California and became established around 2012, 2013. It is now widespread in Southern California. It is also fairly widespread in the Central Valley. There have been active populations that are established that have now been found in Santa Clara, Solano, Contra Costa counties, including last year a detection at Mare Island. So this is a really, really big deal. This mosquito, it's called an ankle biter because it tends to stay low, meaning most of the biting activity is from the knees down. It is specifically adapted to human behavior, meaning we leave our bottle caps, our potato chip bags, whatever it is that we're collecting water in or that we've forgotten about, this insect will find it and it capitalizes on it. One of the challenges is that this insect has many survival strategies, one of them being skip over position, meaning it lays an egg in one yard, lays an egg in another yard, and it just keeps on going. So you can't just target one area and say, oh, I found the water, we're done. Doesn't work that way. This is not a one and done bug, and it's really tough. It's also resistant to a lot of the traditional adulticides or pesticides. So the key is going to be managing the water. The significant message is that it's going to be a community effort. It can't be mosquito control, it can't be the citizens, it has to be both of us. And as a community effort, it's far more effective. Also, you never get them all, which means you have to be diligent and you have to keep targeting this insect. So you look for it, you find it, you eliminate it. So let's talk about a couple of habitats. So you have this little saucer at the bottom of this little plant. You see where the water's collected? It's in there like nobody's business. Bromeliads, very popular plant, and what happens is water will collect in the leaf axils, like you see in this photo where you see what looks like grains of sand. Those are immature mosquitoes, and it took advantage of this, and it's just going to town. You also have, and people forget about the refuse that can be in the ivy or anywhere in the yard, or even an uncovered little area that they're planning to take to the dump and they just haven't done it yet. The water collects, you get the mosquitoes. Children's toys, another popular place. And lastly, I mentioned the bottle cap because this bug really likes small sources, and it's very cryptic in its behavior, so it's very, very hard to find. So I just wanted to sort of remind folks that we really need to be looking for the water sources. If there's questions, please call the district. Phone number is 707-553-9610. We're happy to come out. We're happy to provide information. And we really want to try to do this work with the least impact possible. So I'll open it up for questions.
We appreciate that presentation, Leslie, and the reminder. Councilmember Lamatina?
I just have a question about yellow jackets because I do have a nest in my yard. I'll be calling you.
Not a
How
problem.
do you just dig them out, or you poison them, or how do you
We use
get
a
them?
pyrethrin dust. So what happens is, if it's a ground nest. We can only do ground nests. We're not licensed for anything on structures. That's a very different license. That said, if it's a ground nest that's been found, they're coming in and out of a hole, which is typically the case. Our guy will come out, puts on a moon suit, it's a bee suit to protect himself from being stung. We ask that the pets be kept indoors because they get curious and the yellow jackets will nail them. Come out, we have a little bulb duster, we stick a tube down in the hole, we dust it. You're gonna have some very angry yellow jackets for about a day, and then about 36 to 48 hours later, the nest is dead, it's done. We use a pyrethrin dust because we know that sometimes skunks will dig up the nest and they'll eat the grubs. The pyrethrin doesn't harm the skunks. It's very specific, and that's how it's done.
Thank you.
Good. And thank you again, Leslie. We appreciate the presentation and the reminder of how to manage mosquitoes. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for having me.
At this time, I want to open up the floor for public comment on items that are not listed on tonight's agenda. You'll have 3 minutes to make your statement, and please begin by stating your name for the record. And I'll go to you, Madam Clerk, for
Yep.
the call.
I will call Terrence McGrath, please.
Good evening, Terry.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council members. My name is Terrence McGrath, and I'm the developer owner of Watson Ranch. I'm here tonight to reiterate my desire to work together cooperatively on our outstanding issues as we did in mediation for 10 months in 2025. Litigation is not our preferred path, and going to court is the last resort. I'd like to avoid it at all costs if humanly possible. So first, a couple of comments on the lawsuit. We filed that lawsuit because we ran out of time, since the tolling agreement had expired and we needed to protect our claims under the contract. We cannot dismiss that lawsuit, but there's an easy solution. Re-sign the tolling agreement, just like the one the city recently signed with Promontory and Steve Riley. On a personal note, I know you were upset when I sued you individually and personally. I get it. It was not vindictive on my part. Trust me. It was intended to get your attention, to show you the seriousness of the issues. Obviously, we dismissed it within a couple of weeks, but I'm sorry for any hard feelings or issues it created for any of you individually or collectively. So my main purpose of being here is to address the ballot initiative, i.e. the notice of intent, which we delivered to the city last Friday. It's called Your Vote, Traffic Relief, Northern Access Now. That's what we named it. Obviously, the city will name it officially. The sole purpose is a general plan amendment to connect Marcus Road to Watson Lane for immediate access for all residents living on the east side of the railroad tracks, and does not prevent Newell Drive into the future whenever that may be. Manager Hawley sent us a term sheet on October 24th, 2025, and my team walked it with him for almost 2 hours on October 28th, 2025, 4 days later, which was super helpful. We spent 2 hours out there, entire team, got a ton accomplished. I stand here tonight to reaffirm my commitment to connect Marcus Road to Watson Lane and improve Watson Lane per the Hawley term sheet and the conversation that occurred with him in the field on October 28th. It can be completed within 2 years of today and bring a huge amenity to the city, as well as help Watson Ranch, including the residential home sales, the hotel development, as well as increasing the programming and content of the ruins. Let's show the world a better way to resolve conflict. Thank you for your time this evening.
Thank you, Mr. McGrath.
Ricardo Guadino.
Ricardo Gaudino, thank you. Well, council, do you want a happy heart? Are you ready for a happy heart year?
We're ready for your comment, Mr. Ricardo.
Okay, I have here for you a happy heart. Been about 20 years since we've met. Yes. out the circus.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Washington, sounds like we should dedicate May as Cherry Pie Month.
I'm an apple pie kind of guy, but I feel you. Sir, I got it right here.
Right, yep. There you go. Did you get a flag?
Yep. We're all set.
You got a flag?
And Madam Clerk, if we could start his time once he starts his
I
comment.
certainly will.
Thank you.
In English or Spanish?
English.
Okay. I'm Ricardo Gaudino. I'm the historian, director for USA Proud Learning. 4 years ago, we undertook serving the local community. You don't see us because we provide the actual document for the students. So the distinction that we want to celebrate, that will begin our conversation about learning about our community, is based on the question, who named America? And if you find a room full of people that don't know the answer, we're going to change that. And we're going to do it this year. So we're going to put the cornerstone that the nation needs as the only town in the United States with the name America. And we're going to do some activities that will project hometown community action. That's it.
Thank you, Ricardo.
Help celebrate.
William Baker.
You want a few more posters if you want to talk to some of your
You could just give them to
people?
the clerk.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Ricardo.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is William Baker. For the second time in 4 years, I'm happy to say I'm not here to complain, but offer a compliment. I want to give a shout out to the residents of Montevideo neighborhood for their participation in our first Good Neighbor Outreach meeting with the management of Broadway Village and city professionals from Vallejo. This was a true grassroots initiative by the neighbors in partnership with Shelter Inc. About 24 neighbors participated, half in person and half via submitted questions. This level of engagement on a Friday morning speaks volumes about how much our community cares about being proactive partners in this newly opened project for the unhoused. Several topics were addressed, but one critical safety issue overshadowed all others: the parking and traffic hazard at the front of the building. Before and now after recent ribbon cutting, vehicles continue to proliferate along the front of the building, especially on weekends. This is not merely a parking inconvenience, it's a documented safety hazard. Just one day before our Good Neighbor meeting, on March 19th, a hit and run occurred at the front of the Broadway Village. Parked vehicles blocking the bike lanes in front of the building also interfere with fire and emergency services traveling south on Broadway, a vital transportation corridor. I have shared my formal concerns with Shelter Inc. and Vallejo officials this week. Tonight, I'm asking our city manager, police chief, and fire chief to take an active role in monitoring this situation. I understand it is another county and another city, but Broadway is a critical thoroughfare used by commuters and emergency vehicles alike. If not already, we need American Canyon to share its concerns with the city of Vallejo to ensure that traffic flow and emergency access on Broadway are not compromised. Thank you for your time and for your continued support of our neighbors' safety.
Thank you, William.
Jeanette Goich.
Good evening, Mayor Washington, City Council members, members of the public. I'm here today because I was here on March 17th when the students spoke up. I'm focusing on the ones that spoke about the climate issue, but there were other students that spoke about the Red Cross. They were working with Red Cross. Anyway, I was really impressed by them. And I didn't say anything that night, so then I wrote to the newspaper, and they let me put it in the paper. So I'll just read it to you, if you don't mind. So I attended the American Canyon City Council meeting on March 17th. I want to express my deep gratitude and admiration for those students who spoke up in support of Congressman Thompson's H-Con Res 46. This is a concurrent resolution, focuses on climate restoration and safety for future generations. The three students, by the way, I learned that from this, from them. The three students, I'm going to say their names wrong too, Aria Adeje, a senior at Vintage High, Alexander Gallegos, a junior at New Tech High, and Catherine Bitt, a senior at American Canyon High School, all spoke so eloquently about a topic so important to them and their generation. I'm sure you have made your parents and your high schools very proud. It takes a great deal of courage to speak up at city council meetings, but you all did so well. I know how difficult it is to speak up at city council meetings because I speak up from time to time, and I just started, and I'm in my 70s. I'm not 17. So thank you once again, and continue to do the good work. This is to the students. Your advocacy really matters in this world. I would also like to thank the City Council for moving up the students' presentations early in the meeting, being that it was a school night. And then one more shout out to the students. I don't have their names, but they spoke and worked for the Red Cross. So that's all.
Thank you, Jeanette.
I have no more speaker cards. I do have one hand raised online if we're ready for that.
Okay. Yeah, let the person with the hand up, and then we'll have Cindy do it next.
I sure will. Okay, we are going to call Hugh Marquez. It's just going to take me a moment to get him on here. Go ahead, Hugh.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hello, City Council, Mayor. I just wanted to commend our Parks Division. I attended the Parks Commission meeting, the last meeting, and I wanted to commend Allie and her crew for the forethought and thinking about the future of our city and what our city deserves as far as having parks and community buildings. Anyway, I attended the meeting. It was good to see the forethought that our Parks Committee, our Parks Commission has, and that our Parks Director and the crew that support her are doing to help make our parks a better place. Thank you.
Thank you, Hugh. Cindy?
I'm assuming this is on. Yes, great. I apologize for not putting a card in. I just came back from a school board meeting, so I'm running a little behind today. Cindy Biederman, community member. Good evening, council and mayor and neighbors. I just want to bring some history a little bit. I know Mark Jessup remembers this. He was the city manager at that time. I'm talking about the troop support sign that we have out here. Back in 2004, I came to the city council because at that time our servicemen were not feeling supported. They were in Afghanistan and they were in Iraq. As a mom with a young man that was over there, a soldier, you can't do a whole lot. You can't run over there and protect him, although I would if I could. But the next best thing I can do was give him the mental support. So I came to the city council and I asked for a troop support sign. They asked me how big. I told them they could see it overseas, that would be perfect, but we couldn't do that. And they granted that, and they allowed me the opportunity to go get it designed here in town, which I don't think the company's here anymore. And the city paid for it. At that time, it was City Council was over at the Parks and Recs, the old one, at that time. That's how long, 2003, 2004, I think. And then Michelogic's property on Donaldson Way in 29, Mickey said, hey, you put it up there, because at that time, that was the city's bulletin board. They had the signs up there, and they paint it and change it, and that was our event announcement. So they put it on the top of that. I'm going to tell you what, the veterans in the city had come out, and they built, Ben Anderson bought these bricks to make a garden bed around it. Mickey gave us flowers, and they come out, and they kept it cleaned and kept it nice and everything for all those years. Then Rich Ramirez entered in the picture, city manager, and he decided, oh, that shouldn't be there no more. And it took an act of Congress, but we got it to where they were going to shove it aside for a while, and we fought that. And then he says, well, we're going to put it out here at the new city hall. That's what they wanted. I wanted it safe, even though it's not my sign. It meant a lot. And so they agreed, yeah, we're going to move it out here. We'll make it nice, and we're going to light it up. There were some other things that they said they were going to do about the sign. It never transpired, but that's okay. It was safe. It showed. It was lit up. It's always been pretty good if the lights go out. Hey, lights out. And, you know, 2001, when some of this started, the sign came in, like I said, in 2003, 2004. I'd have to go home, excuse me, I'm probably longer. In October at the Wally Hills, I ran into Jason Hawley, our city manager. I said, hey, the light's out. Oh, okay, yeah, I'll get it. Okay. I came here at this last meeting. I said, hey, the light's still out. I'll make a note of it. The light's still out, so I'm hoping 3 times the charm. Because we have our men and women back in harm's way. They're in some very precarious places. And that sign should be shining bright. And I wish to goodness they could see it overseas again. But they can't. But it needs to be lit. We need to give that sign the respect it deserves so it could show the respect that our men and women deserve. So excuse my voice is shaking because it is near and dear.
Cindy, you're at time.
Thank you. So please have them do it. Thank you.
Thank you, Cindy. Any other cards or?
I have no cards and no other hands raised online.
All right, thank you, Madam Clerk. So we'll close public comment at this time and go for agenda changes. Are there any agenda changes, Council? Seeing none, I'll accept a motion to accept the consent calendar.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, we have a motion. A second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, can you do a roll call, please?
Councilmember Cruz?
Yes.
Councilmember Lamatina?
Yes.
Councilmember Oro?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Joseph?
Yes.
Mayor Washington?
Yes. For public hearing, we actually do not have anything for public hearing this evening, so we'll move on to business item, which we have one business item on the agenda. Let's start with item 13, American Canyon Police Department 2025 Annual Report. Chief Greenberg.
Good evening, Mayor, council members, and members of the community. For those of you that I have not met, my name is Rick Greenberg, and I'm your police chief here at American Canyon. Tonight, I'm pleased to present to you the 2025 Annual Police Report for the American Canyon Police Department. So the City of American Canyon contracts with the Napa County Sheriff's Office for law enforcement services. We have done so for quite some time. Our staffing level in 2025, as this slide depicts, is the same as in 2024, and it is 26 sworn officers, 2 police technicians, which are non-sworn. They issue parking citations, and they help us out with traffic collisions and tow vehicles. And then 1 records technician, who's also non-sworn, and she works at the front counter at the police department, answering phones and handing out police reports to folks that need copies of them. Of the 26 officers, we have 2 canine handlers with their furry partners, Brick and Ruger. We have 2 full-time motor officers, 2 school resource officers, and then 1 community resource officer. Currently, the contract for the law enforcement services between the city and the sheriff's office is $9,759,801. That's a big number, but it also includes several other services that the sheriff's office provides. And I'll briefly go through those. It includes evidence storage and processing. So anytime we seize evidence and have to keep it for court, the sheriff's office houses that for us. Includes detectives and also a full-scale narcotics division, a drone team, a SWAT team, a dispatch call center, which is 24 hours, an explosive ordnance team, a mobile field force, and then also includes all the hiring and training for the officers in American Canyon. So like I like to refer to it as it's like an all-inclusive contract for the city. Calls for service. So in 2025, we had 14,923 calls for service, which is higher by approximately 147 calls as we had in 2024. We had a total of 704 arrests, which is an increase of 188 from 2024. As in past years, as you can see from the chart here on the slide, most of the arrests involve people that don't reside here in American Canyon. There are people passing through. Crimes of opportunity. Parts of this is there's almost 200 more arrests last year than the prior year. Part of that is an increase from proactive policing that the officers out on the street are doing. And then also from the adoption of Proposition 36, which was enacted back in December of 2024. So this proposition changed some misdemeanor theft and drug charges from misdemeanors to felonies. It basically reversed back to how it was before. Our statistics show that we had 46 felony arrests associated with this new proposition. And then lastly, officers seized 45 guns off the streets of American Canyon, which is just under 1 gun per week. So they've been busy. Traffic enforcement. In 2025, we had a decrease in citations on local roads, but an increase of citations issued on Highway 29. We also had a decrease in school bus stop citations. These are when the school bus stops and they have the flashing red lights, you're supposed to stop and not continue around them. So we had a decrease in those and also with stop sign violations. So hopefully that's because motorists are, obeying those laws and getting educated, especially on the school buses. Traffic collisions on the local roadways, we had a decrease, whereas on Highway 29, we had an increase. And then unfortunately, in 2025, we had 2 fatal traffic collisions, which was actually our first in 2 years. I spoke briefly about the police technicians, and this is kind of highlighting what they do. I'm pleased to announce that in 2025, both these positions were filled for an entire year, which is something we didn't have for a couple of years. And as you can see from the stats, they were busy bees. I'll go through their stats real quickly. They had 83 general parking citations. 5 of those were handicaps. The big number is the 72-hour. These are your abandoned vehicles that have been parked on the streets for more than 72 hours. 370. That's like 1 a day that they issued. And then of that 370 of those citations issued, 77 vehicles were towed. And then just one of the other services that this position offers is a free child car seat inspection to make sure they're installed properly, and they'll actually install them for you. And we do that. We offer that service at the police department just by appointment only. You can schedule one online or call directly and come on down and they'll do it for you. And then we also host several of these events throughout the year with allied agencies, and our next one is actually next month on the 23rd of May, and it's from 8 to 11 over at the Boys and Girls Club. So in 2025, this is something new for us. We applied for this grant. It was a state grant, and we received it, and it's for impaired driving enforcement. And the money for this grant is funded by state tax that's collected from the cultivation and sale of cannabis in the state of California. So we received a grant for $87,557, and that was to purchase this vehicle, this Ford Mustang, for impaired driving enforcement. Now you might see it's kind of unique. It's, we call it ghosted. It's not undercover. It's a fully marked vehicle. It's just more inconspicuous. So we host not necessarily DUI checkpoints, but we call them roving DUI patrols. Other agencies come help us, and then we go help them. So it's great. And we usually do those, obviously, in the evening hours when impaired driving is happening the most. So some crime statistics. And pleased to announce in 2025, we did not have any homicides, although we did have an increase in violent crimes and assaults. Our thefts, including automobile theft, were slightly down from 2024. And we had 50 vehicle pursuits, which are up by 7 from last year. And of those 50 pursuits, 10 of those were terminated by supervisors for various safety reasons, whether it be to officers or just the general public. We continue to be above the state average on crime clearance rates, and that's solving crime. We're 10.5% more above the state average on violent crime, and then 30.9% above the state average on property crimes. These two positions are really important in our community. These are the school resource officers, or SROs as they're commonly referred to. Officer Huschel continues to be the SRO at the middle school, and then Officer Coleman out at the high school. Both schools had a slight increase in calls for service and actual police reports taken in 2025 compared to the year prior. These positions, the city shares a contract with the school district, and they each pay for half. And the current contract rate is $193,345 each. And then I want to advertise our this program we participate in. It's called Top the Cops. And last year we started doing it. It's out at Sonoma Raceway, and it's for high school age kids that have a valid driver's license, of course, and they can come out and race against law enforcement officers in their community. So this year, once again, we'll be participating out there. The first one's next week on Wednesday, and it starts at 5 p.m. at Sonoma Raceway, just right on the other end of 37. And we'll have our Ford Mustang out there racing against the high school kids.
Does the students get a head start?
Depends on what kind of car they have.
Yeah. What's the win rate with our cops versus the students?
Well, this year we have the Ford Mustang, so I don't know. It might even out the odds a little bit for us. So animal services. This is also an additional contract that the city has with the county for animal services, which is actually a division of the sheriff's office as well. And that current contract is $69,163. Calls for service for animal services countywide, including Marion Canyon, were slightly down in 2025. And just for information on the duties that these officers do, their duties range from investigating dangerous animal incidents, such as like dog bites, capturing stray animals, and investigating abuse or neglect. In our Explore program, we brought this back 2 years ago, I believe. During COVID, it kind of got pushed to the wayside for obvious reasons, and we brought it back, and it's been successful, and we've had more and more interest every year. Last year, we had 4 students in our Explore program, and this program's open to students ages 14 to 18, and who are in school with a 2.5 GPA and with no less than a C in all subjects. So they have to go to school and actually be getting good grades, kind of like when they play sports. The goal is to provide training and hands-on work experience and mentorship through the students in our organization. Police explorers are required to meet regularly, attend community events with us, and maintain active participation within the training program. In the summertime, they get to attend a week-long academy, and it's hosted by allied agencies. And last year, this picture is of their graduation day, and it was in coordination with the Vacaville Police Department. And I believe this year Fairfield Police Department is putting it on at their training facility. And you can, for information on how to register for this or fill out an actual application, you can go to our website, and the application is right on the website. So we take great pride in our community engagement at the police department, along with our community policing. We host and attend many city-sponsored events, and these pictures here are just like a small snapshot of what we're involved with. This year, we are honored to actually get to escort the Wall of Heels into the city of American Canyon. It was a really emotional event for officers. Every year, we have National Night Out here in the city. It's a big event for American Canyon. This year's is Tuesday. It's always the first Tuesday of August, so this year it's August 4th. And if you've never been involved in National Night Out, I highly recommend it, and getting some of your neighbors together and hosting a party. You can do that on our website as well. That'll be opened up soon for applications for that. And then we introduced this a program called Chill with the Cops. And you know, everybody, you hear Coffee with the Cops. We just weren't getting the engagement that we hoped for with Coffee with the Cops. So we started Chill with the Cops, and we coordinate with 7-Eleven on American Canyon Road, and we hand out free Slurpees to the kids after school, and it's great. And well, we had one at the beginning of school, and we usually have one at the end of school. So we'll be announcing that. And these are just some ways you can reach us. Make sure you follow us on all of our social media pages for press releases, messages to the community, and also on our website just for general information, including this year's full annual report. This isn't the actual full annual report. The full one will actually be online. And that's the end of my presentation. Any questions?
Thank you, Chief. That was, for me, I think you guys are doing an amazing job. And every time I talk to somebody in the community, they're always telling me how great you guys are responding and very visible in the community. So thank you for what you do and the time that you take to make people feel safe. With that said, I will go to, I think it's, well, okay. Councilmember Brando Cruz.
Chief, first of all, thank you for the report, and thank you for all what you and the men and women of American Canyon PD do. We really appreciate your services. Just a few questions, just to follow up. With the advent of Prop 36, obviously there was a rise in arrests. Did you see property crimes start going down?
Not necessarily. I'd have to look at the report to actually give you a straight answer on that and not just guess. But I don't know. You know, this is the first year that it's actually been a full year since it's been enacted. So it's hard to judge. It'll be interesting to see what happens in this upcoming year and the year after that. It'd be easier to gauge that and answer that question, I believe.
Absolutely, Chief. Thank you for that. We're talking about the police techs and how they go out and they do sites and things of that nature. Do they go out and patrol and see what's in violation, or is it calls for service, a mix of two? I asked that only because of the Broadway area where there's vehicles parked illegally. Are they actively enforcing that?
Yes, so they're proactive and reactive. We encourage folks to call dispatch to report those types of circumstances and not online. But yes, it's both proactive, reactive. The Broadway the hours for the Broadway parking is typically when they're not working. So they don't work 24. We do not have a police technician 24 hours a day like we do a normal sworn police officer. So the graveyard teams are out there doing that type of enforcement after the hours of the police techs are working.
Awesome, thank you. One last question, Chief. Firearms. You guys are doing an awesome job. How many firearms did you confiscate this last year, fiscal year? roughly?
45 for the calendar year.
Amazing job, Chief, and thank you for what you guys do. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Vice Mayor Joseph?
I want to thank you as well. And just as an aside, when I was looking at it, I thought it was chilly with the cops, not chill. So I was kind of thinking, this would be good because I could do some chili. But that's just because apparently I don't see well. A couple of comments. One, it looked like our calls for service is more than half of the total sheriff's office calls.
So that's because we're the second most populated in the county of Napa.
Okay,
With,
so-
city of Napa being obviously much larger.
So that's just, struck me as kind of amazing, but you're right. And then the other one that I really wanted to drill down on is, and it's a good thing because our clearance rate for property crimes is dramatically higher than the state average. Any insights on how we're more successful at catching those kind of bad guys?
So mostly because, your bigger agencies, your bigger cities, they don't have the time or resources to investigate property crimes as much as they do crimes against persons. So, obviously, I don't want to speak for other agencies, but, that's kind of, in talking with them, that's kind of where it falls under.
Okay, that makes sense. I mean, if you had to choose between a robbery and a break-in, I'd probably worry about a robbery too. So it's kind of the additional benefit of not having as many people crimes gives us the ability to focus on the property.
Correct.
A great report. Thank you for your support and for the whole department.
Thank you.
I hear no other questions or comments from council. I'd like to open it up for public comment on item number 13, for any public comment. Madam Clerk, do we have any?
I do have one online.
Okay.
Hugh Marquez, go ahead.
Hello, Chief. I want to thank you and your department for the great work you have done this year. You definitely have protected our city very well by constant reports of your department, of our department, of the city's department, getting guns off the street. It seems like a continual thing that you guys are stopping people and getting unlawful guns off. I have one question for you. Is I am on social media, on American Canyon Happenings, Nextdoor, and a lot of people continue to complain about people running stop signs and whatnot. And my question to you is, what method is best to inform the police and the city as a whole of any kind of problems that people see? Is it the See Click Fix It app? Is it going on the city website? Because when people complain, as a resident here, I try to guide them to help get their issues corrected, or at least to the proper agency. And so I was just curious if you could give the public an idea of what would be the best method, because I know the city staff does not follow social media. And I believe in the past it was See Click Fix, because then there is a stat, there's actual record of what has been seen. And that way the city, Public Works, whatever department in the city, parks, if somebody has an issue, the city as a whole can see and try to remedy it. Again, I was curious of what would be the best method for residents to inform you of any nefarious things that would go on that are not a 911, that are not an emergency call. Thank you.
Thank you, Hugh.
Thank you, Hugh. And yes, we do have a non-emergency dispatch line, and that is always open to call and report stuff like that, as well as See Click Fix. Both are documented, and will get a message to us. See Click Fix, we actually will respond and give you a resolution on things, whatever that outcome might be. So it's always good to leave a name and number on SeeClickFix. A lot of folks, when we get reports of, minor crime or traffic issues, they report anonymous, and then we have no way of contacting them. So it's really hard to let people know that we're actually out there trying to resolve the situation that they present us. So SeeClickFix is good. Always can call dispatch. And when you're reporting it, it's a lot of times these traffic violations are occurring during like school pickups and drop-offs or heavy commute times. So if it's easier for me to have officers out there at specific times of the day, if I know those types of violations are occurring more frequently at those times of the day versus just sending somebody out there at a random time. So hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah, I think it did. Any other questions online? Anybody again inside? Beth?
Yes, I just want to thank the chief because it was about 3 or 4 months ago. In fact, I called Jason first. In at the field across the street from me, on Poco and Melvin Road, there's this guy who came out with this pop-up tent from AT&T. It's like he was selling phones on the corner. And I called Jason to find out, is this legit or whatever? So I called the police department. Man, they were there within 7 minutes. But I don't know what the outcome was, but he left. But it was just weird that he'd set up a table, big A&T tent, and had phones out there. It was really, but you guys did a good job, and you always do a good job. I live by myself, now that the whole world knows, but I always feel safe. I mean, we have a great police department and fire department, and I thank you for your service.
Thank you, Beth. If there's no other comments in the room, I'll close public comment and turn back to the council for further discussion or an agreement to accept this as a read and file. Good report. So we will accept as a read and file. Thank you again, Chief, for your leadership and what you do for our city. Now we'll move on to our management and staff oral reports. Mr. Holly?
Yeah, Deputy City Manager Akita has some updates for us.
Thank you, City Manager Holly. Mayor, Council, I'm here to tell you all the wonderful things that are happening around the city over the next couple weeks. Starting on April 11th, we have a wetlands cleanup from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. This is provided to you by the American Canyon Community Parks Foundation. Also that day, we have an American Canyon Trails community program. You can learn all about the mammals down at the wetlands from 9 a.m. to 12. Also that day, you've heard about earlier this evening, the Arts Foundation will be hosting a sip and paint at the Mycologic Center. It's going to be from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. You can purchase your tickets to participate. And then the following day on April 12th, Napa Solano Audubon Society will be hosting a bird walk at the wetlands from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. That is a free opportunity for you to learn about all the wonderful birds down at the wetlands. And then that same day over at Shenandoah Park, the hosted by Helping Hand Indo-American, will be holding their annual Holy Festival of Colors, and that is from 2 to 5 p.m. And then on April 13th, join the American Canyon Community Parks Foundation and Seroptimus International of American Canyon at Wetlands Edge Trail at 10 a.m. for a monthly slow and stroll. And then on April 15th, the American Canyon High School, along with the American Canyon Chamber of Commerce, will be hosting a job fair from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. And then on April 25th, if you have not done so already, we will be hosting the Community Recognition Dinner. Tickets are still on sale until April 13th, and this event will be held at the Doubletree Hotel from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Thank you so much.
Allie, the fair, the job fair, is that at the high school?
It is at the high school.
Okay. Thank you.
That's correct, right, Beth? Thank you.
Thank you for that report. Anything else, Mr. Holly? No? With that said, we'll move on to our city mayor and council comments and committee reports, starting with you, Vice Mayor Mark Joseph.
Well, I did submit my written report, so you've got that.
Yep.
And then, just as a flashback history tidbit, Ricardo, the name always sticks with me. He's aged like I have, but many, many years ago, he came to the city with an idea to have a circus. And we held, I think, a couple of circuses basically where Tractor Supply is now, either that or where Walmart is. Big, huge success. So, yeah, like I said, that's a flashback from the history books.
Thank you. Councilmember David Orrell.
Yeah, I don't have a written report, but I did attend a LAFCO meeting yesterday where they elected a new public member. So starting May 4th, the new public member will be a gentleman by the name of Jeffrey Crosswhite, and Ken Leary's term ends on that day. So that's the big news over there. I'll type it all up, but I thought you guys should know that sooner than later.
Did Ken not apply again?
There were 4 applicants, 3 interviewed.
Okay.
The existing voting members of LAFCO, I am not a voting member, I'm an alternate, voted for Jeffrey Crosswhite.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Lamatina.
Nothing to report.
Councilmember Cruz.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I did submit my report, but I did have a meeting with North Bay, the executive committee. We talked about our different policies that we all collectively belong to. We did talk about Assembly and Senate bills that was discussed that we advised staff on what we'd like them to move forward on. I particularly I'm not support, but I represent public safety. And in 2 weeks, I will be attending the Leadership Summit at the Capitol. And I believe Councilmember Orrell will be, are you one of the instructors?
I'm speaking at that event, yes, along with the mayor of Sassoon City. So we have a panel on misinformation and AI happening.
So I look forward to supporting Councilmember Orrell on that event. And that's all I have, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. I as well, I've submitted my, my report. And the only thing I wanted to add is that I see that a couple of my neighbors, Willie and Rowena, are here from the ukuleles that it was mentioning earlier. And if you haven't heard them play you would be amazed. I know they go to all the Meet Me in the Streets as well, and the entertainment. I try to put my booth right next to them so I could hear them play. So thank you for coming tonight. Future agenda items. Any future agenda items from the council? Hearing none. Okay, then with that, we've concluded our business for this evening. We are adjourned. Good night, American Canyon.